show you how to answer a multi-part question using the RACE format. When we answer open response questions, most of the time it's just one question that we're answering. And so far this year, there's really just been questions that have one part to them. And that makes it pretty easy to do because you follow the RACE progression where you restate the question with the answer, you provide your evidence, and then you have your explanation. It's simple. It may not be easy, but it's simple as far as what I do and when. You know what to do first, second, third, fourth, etc. But what about when there are two questions and a prompt? Well, I'm going to show you a tip on how to set up your answer so that it is organized, and then you can go back and really make it good. So here we go. So this first prompt that we're looking at says, what is courage? And then there's a second question. Why do some people seem to have courage while others do not? So watch what I do. I'm going to address each question separately, but we're going to go through the RACE structure with each question. So let's start with courage. What is courage? What do you do first in RACE? You restate the question with the answer. So I'll just start off with courage is. We just put a ... and then that's where our R is in our A is in the RACE format. So courage is the restating the question. The A stands for the answer. Then we have our evidence, and then we have our, which is represented by C, because C means cite evidence, and then we have our explanation. All right. Then we address the second question, which is why do some people seem to have courage while others do not? So now we have to restate it with an answer. So some people seem to have courage while others do not because, and that's where we come up with our answer. You don't even have to put the dots, you can just put the A, and then we cite our evidence, and then we give our explanation. And now it's set up, it's organized for you. So now all you have to do is go back in and erase your placeholders. That's what these parentheses are with the letter in them, is they're placeholders. So you go back in and you erase the placeholders and you put in your answer. You plug in your answer. So like courage is, so we get rid of the A and we say courage is when someone takes a risk, let's say personal, takes a personal risk for a noble cause. All right. Then I'd come in and I'd do the same. I'd go back in, I'd give my evidence, and then I would explain why my evidence was true. And then I'd move on to the next one, the next question. Now pay particular attention to this one. So this is a question that we're actually going to go through and do in class. We're going to answer this in class. And it's also set up to the question that you're going to be answering. It's set up exactly like the question you're going to be answering for your common formative assessment next week, which will be your first big grade of the third 9 weeks right before parent-teacher conferences. And if you look at it, it's kind of complicated. So this one says the author creates a childlike tone in the boy in the striped pajamas. How does he use point of view, perspective, and mood to accomplish this? So this one is one question, but there are multiple parts inside of it. So we got to really think about all the different things we have to address. Well, first, we have to restate the question, and then we have to address how he used point of view, and then we got to do, perspective, and then we got to talk about mood. And all three of these have to be about how he used them to create a childlike tone. So, how do I set it up? Well, we start off by restating the question with the answer. So we'll say the author used a variety of, we could say, literary. Let's make it simple. Instead of using a different word, let's just say the author used point of view, perspective, and mood to create a childlike tone in the boy in the striped pajamas. Now we start by addressing each one. So we start off with point of view first. He used point of view. He used point of view by, and then to create, let's say you use point of view to create a childish tone by, and then that's where we come in with our placeholders again. We have our answer, we have our evidence, we have our explanation. Then we can come back in and mention how he used mood. We take it one at a time. Perspective. We could say his perspective also caused the tone to be childish or childlike due to, and then we're going to answer it, put our placeholders in. Finally, and we can say finally his, let's not say it, finally the mood of the story led to this childlike tone by, and then we have our placeholders. And then you go back in there and you answer the questions. And you're going to have to do some things to make it better. Like, look at how redundant this is. So the author used point of view, perspective, and mood to create a childlike tone in the boy in the striped pajamas. By the way, when you have a title of a novel, you italicize it. I guess this is italicized. The rest of it is too. So we will make this unitalicized so that we can just italicize the title. Now, look at the repetitiveness here. He used point of view to create a childish tone by. His perspective also caused the tone to be more childlike due to. And finally, the mood of the story led to this childlike tone by. So the question is, do we want to use childlike 3 times? Or is that redundant? I would say it may be a little bit redundant, but it is one of the key words in the prompt right here. So I think we're going to be okay keeping it like that. So again, quick recap. We answer each question separately according to the race format, and then we set up, after we restate the question with the answer, we set up the placeholders, and then we move on to the next question and repeat the process. And then down here, we identified all the major parts of the question we had to answer, and then we restated the question with the answer, and then we started to restate the question with that addressed each part, and then put the placeholders in.